What's going on, guys? So I wanted to take a video here and talk about the importance of doing drills. Now, for those of you who may be training for a half marathon, a full marathon, or even an ultra marathon, I don't think drills are too important. I think you're better off using your time towards running and stretching. But for those of you who might be training for a race, in the 5K distance or less, I think drills are really an appropriate way of building up some speed, helping out with your form, which is important with the shorter races.
So after a 1 to 2 mile warm-up and stretches, when I'm doing any sort of speed workout, assuming I have time, I try to do drills as often as possible when training for a race, 5K distance or below. The first drill I'm doing here is high knees, where your quad should be parallel to the ground. You should try to get in as many steps as possible, and you should be light and quick on your toes while doing high knees. Next, we have butt kicks, where you're going to want to jog with your knees low, pulling heels to the butt, while keeping your foot folded. The knees should stay underneath your hips, and by no means is this a race. You want to stay light and quick on the toes while keeping the body and hips as tall as you possibly can. Next here we have skips. Now these are just generic playground level skips. It's really important to just do these to begin for me because it helps develop my form. So when then I transition onto A skips, B skips, and Super Mario skips, I'm ready to go for those. Next here we do have the famous A skip, which you want to make sure you drive the knee high and parallel while keeping your feet off the ground, keeping your toes up and heels to the calf level. You want to make sure to have a low recovery off of the ground while doing this. These are essentially the high knees of skips because you have that high knee position, but you're doing it in a skipping motion. Next here we do have a B skip, where you're going to want to make sure you're doing an A skip, but there is a second part to it. The second part is when you're actually clawing your foot to the ground, brushing the ground with your toes, and you're going to want to make sure you drive the foot down with more force and you're gripping the floor while doing the B skip here. Next, we have the famous Super Mario skip, which is referred to as many different names, but I like to call it Super Mario just because it reminds me of my childhood days when I used to play a lot of Super Mario, and you would essentially, with Mario, try to hit the mystery box and get the magic mushroom to improve your speed. This is kind of the same thing, but just in a drill motion through a skip. Next, we have the famous side step shuffle, which you may remember from your elementary school days. Essentially, you will just shuffle with your body in a side-based position while adjusting your arms from an upward position to a T position and then a downward position. It's important to have your knees low and be in almost like a squat-like position. Followed by this, we have the karaoke shuffle, where you want to face the side while standing tall. You will step side back, side in front, while reaching out, stepping down to the floor, and rotating your hips. If you notice, I do have a high knee coming up each and every time. I am doing the karaoke shuffle as well, but just standing on the side is really one of the main differences there. And then to finish things off, I do enjoy to do a handful of strides, really focusing on my form, building speed, running typically about 70% of my VO2 max here. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching this video in regards to drills. One thing I will say is there are so many different drills out there. These are just the ones that I have as part of my routine. If you guys have any questions or suggestions on the drills that you guys like to do, I'm more than happy to share it with this Run Breiter community. Definitely follow me on Instagram and Facebook for the latest and greatest, and don't forget to run brighter. Thanks, guys.